My next stop on the road trip is a little bit personal. I've parked up in Scarborough, on the coast of the North Riding of Yorkshire. It's one of the great British seaside resorts, which I'll give you more context on when we head to Bridlington soon. Set back slightly from the North Bay of Scarborough is Peasholm Park. Each summer, there's the sort of things you'd expect from a park in a seaside town: a bandstand for concerts, pedalows and rowing boats for rent, a little putting green. And then there's the naval warfare. 7 a.m, all quiet in Scarborough, and welcome to Peasholm Park. When I was on holiday as a kid, I used to come here sometimes, and the naval warfare at Peasholm Park was always this slightly mythical thing. The posters advertise a sea battle in miniature, including fireworks. And while I didn't have a camcorder back in 1996, someone else did, and they let me use their footage. Thank you, John. So this is roughly what I would have seen as a kid. Scale model ships sailing around the lake, pyrotechnics going off.
She's well and truly outnumbered.
Even model planes flying overhead on wires, apparently dropping bombs.
Oh dear. As you can see, she's taken 2 direct hits there, and she is ablaze.
And a big fireworks finale. And the most astonishing part of it all, those ships are not remote controlled. To explain how that's worked for nearly a century, I met up with Noah, one of the park staff, and I got to go behind the scenes into the boatyard. I'm properly excited about this. I saw the naval warfare as a kid. This is lovely. 3 of those boats are on a winch system, pulled on cables from the boatyard. All the others...
They're all manned. People in them ones.
Yeah.
Which I think we'll be able to get you in one.
Oh, okay.
to try.
Yeah, that is definitely something I'd like to try. Thank you very much. But I don't want to get in the way.
Yes.
He says carefully setting up the camera shot and trying to angle it. I don't want to get in the way. You've got a show to put on. 5 of the boats have a crew member on board, 1 person per boat, hidden, lying down inside, piloting the ship and setting off the pyrotechnics that are right next to them. And while I wasn't going to be part of the show, obviously, I was going to get to try piloting one.
1927 it started, so...
Oh, you're coming up to the centenary then?
Yes. When it first started, all the boats were pedal-powered.
Right.
And then the only time it stopped was for the Second World War and for COVID.
Yeah.
When they came back to the boats after the Second World War, they weren't damaged from the war, they just weren't maintained.
Yeah.
So they decided to replace the fleet, and that's when the motors came in that we decided to use. And now they're all run by at least 4 car batteries.
So those 2 ships are pulled out on cables.
Yeah.
Those are the ones with people in them.
People in them, yeah.
And there's a rowing boat to take stuff out there. Yep. Which looks very odd at that scale. That's just a really big rowing boat all of a sudden. Hi, I'm Tom.
I'm Brandon.
Brandon and Richard.
Richard.
Nice to meet you. Hello. The first job for the day is to set out the winch cables. They're pulled all the way in after each show, so the first thing to do is get them out onto a reel.
We're starting to get the nice silvery coloured cable visible, which is an indicator that bit's never been in the water, so we're getting to the end of the reel.
Those motors are probably 70 years old. When any electrician looks at them, they just think this is such old technology that we've got down here.
But it works.
But it works, yeah.
And you can fix it with regular parts and nothing special.
Pretty much so. Just a bit of maintenance and just hope and pray.
Yeah, prayers. That's what we fix them with.
They take the cable reel out onto a rowing boat and pull it across the water.
So every show we set this up. So the first thing we'll do is we've got 3 cables to put out.
Okay, sorry, with apologies to Richard, because he's doing manual work over water, I couldn't risk putting a microphone on him, it might get knocked off. So between the oars, the water, and the ducks...
Then we put it onto a pulley, and then it'll go across to there.
I'm going to have to explain this one here. They have 3 cables to lay out in a specific order. Out from the boat shed, round a pivot point on the shoreline, and then to each boat's starting point.
We have a specific order that the cables go out. The British Pride is the one they're bringing out now. That will go to this pole that's directly behind me, and then it will go over towards the bridge. And this one's the lowest one in the water, so you have to put this out first. You don't want this to sit over the top of the other two.
Right, so the cables are at specific heights in the water.
Depths in the water,
Right.
yeah, to prevent them from, you don't want them rubbing on each other the whole time, because over the course, let's say 30 shows a year, it causes a lot of damage to them.
The reason they pivot the wires is so they can have 3 boats moving in different directions, all powered by the winches at the boat shed, without any remote control needed. Those boats actually only travel in a straight line forward and backward between the starting point and the pivot, but with all the chaos going on and all the other boats, the audience doesn't spot that.
Noah here, who will be doing the special behind-the-scenes effects, he has to operate the pulleys and do all the switchboard for all the front effects and set the bombs off on the 3 boats.
We'll talk about that switchboard in a moment. First, at the other side of the lake, they'll just tie on the cable to the shore for now and only put it under tension just before the show when they move the boats out. There's going to be tourists out there on pedalos until then. Now, about that switchboard.
The switchboard, so got the submarine at the top, as you see everything's labelled, and we'll put the effects on. I mean, the amount of effects we have is pretty ridiculous.
And made in Yorkshire as well, which is nice.
This is probably 1930s maybe.
Yeah.
Everything here really is that old. I don't know how you can see it down there, but they are the old engines that we've taken out of the boats.
Oh!
Since being replaced by mobility scooter engines.
That makes sense. Mobility scooters and wheelchairs. I remember working with Colin Furs, if you know, mad Lincolnshire inventor,
Yes.
years ago. Anything where he was putting like high-powered stuff in. Mobility scooter motors, wheelchair motors, depending on whether you needed more torque or more speed. So we've got switchboard here.
Yeah, so harbour and warship model are both out front.
All the stuff on the ground. And there's still no radio control for that. So as those boats move out, they're dragging a long waterproof firing cable behind them.
The tanker, that's the British Pride, which I feel a bit sorry for the British Pride as we've seen the show. That one really doesn't do anything other than get blown up. And then the submarine as well, which is fairly straightforward.
So let's have a look at the other end of those firing cables on the British Pride.
Across the deck, you can see effects, wires.
Oh, those are...
So these are all spent. They're all gone, don't worry about them. It's not hooked up to any power.
Oh yeah, I'm still not going to get close to a used firework though.
But these in the show all fire at different points, and you can see the arms fold down.
Yeah.
They'll fold in the water and sit just underneath, so they'll big splash, look like near misses, and
Right.
it's on a tilt, as I mentioned earlier with the barrel.
Remember that boat from the camcorder footage that got hit and suddenly listed to the side? This is how it's done, and it also involves pyrotechnics.
This here,
Oh, there's a
massive concrete barrel.
big lump of concrete. Right. So now the ship's upright.
Yep. It's literally like that until they blow. That flies out. Hopefully it rolls.
Yep. And all of a sudden the ship is listing in the water.
Listing in the water, yeah.
You might assume that something like this is going to be run by enthusiastic volunteers, perhaps older retired folks, but no, these are park staff, council employees. It's part of the job of running P-Zone Park, and they have to train up new people all the time.
The start of the season we'll do a run through. We'll get everyone in boats, just get used to being in them, because there's driving them, but there's being in it as well. You know, if you stick someone in it and then they have a panic attack, because it's like being in a coffin on water, essentially. Obviously, we're not going to force them in a boat.
No, if you can't do it, you can't do it.
Yeah. And it's not something everyone here is comfortable with doing, you know. No one's ever forced to go in.
No.
It's not something you can really say to someone, you know. All the boats you can sit up in, apart from the aircraft carrier Ark Royal, the one with far corner.
Yeah.
One. You
can like sit up. You're not like lying completely prone.
Not lying completely flat, apart from in Ark Royal, which that is. Whoever has that boat, you know. I mean, in the show, it's probably the boat with the least amount of things to do, but it is not an easy one to get to grips with.
Meanwhile, Brandon and Richard are getting the last cable out.
We've got all three of us. In the event of one of us not being able to do a particular job, we can all do each other's jobs. So you'll see we can look after this, all the bits that go off in the show.
Every time I think that, you know, someone's been introduced as well, we bring new ideas, fresh, you know, thoughts and questions get asked. You know, there were certain things that were happening, but why do we do it this way? There's a well-known phrase down here, which is that's just the way it's always been. You know?
Which, you know, a show that's nearly 100 years old.
Yeah, so we've changed a few things, hopefully for the better.
Job number 2, get the rest of the boats out of the shed, which involves me putting on some waders. It is still weird to be getting into water in clothing, because I'm convinced.
You feel wet sometimes when you're like, am I leaking? But sure, it's just the cold.
It's uneven, isn't it? Untie the boat. Whoever did this knows they're not. And then bring it over to the side. Let's be honest, everyone watching this is going, is he going to fall in the water? I did consider making that an enormous dramatic moment, but no, I did not fall in the water. But I did get to try driving the boats after the break. I have some inside information on Incogni. This is not a normal sponsorship read. Incogni removes your information from data brokers, the people who buy and sell your personal information, like names, addresses, social security numbers, location history. And this is Incogni's headquarters, and this is Ben, who's the product manager.
Yeah, and we fight not only data brokers, but people search sites as well. It's those shady companies that tend to sell your personal information for money, and pretty much everyone can access it.
In theory, you can opt out of those manually, but it would take hundreds of hours of concerted effort for just one round of requests. Incogni does it all for you.
You just register, go through the onboarding flow, you allow us to act on behalf of you, and we take the fight to them.
Here's the weird testimonial. I once met someone who had to deal with the requests from Incogni, and he was really annoyed about you because you kept emailing. I'm being vague, ironically, for his privacy, because his company isn't one of the dodgy ones. They do have a good reason for holding people's data. But Incogni were actively irritating him because you just kept doggedly asking. If you didn't get a response, there would be a follow-up message, and then you'd come back months later and check. That is the best indicator that I can imagine that Incogni does their job. You can go to incogni.com/Tom Scott, scan the QR code, or follow the link in the description for a big discount on their annual plan and keep your data private. Hey, that was solid.
Pretty good.
I like that. That was good.
That was pretty good.
I wasn't sure whether a handshake or a fist bump there. We kind
we can do both.
Yeah.
We can do both.
Right, time to try driving. While Noah and Richard rowed out to pull the final cable across, I got into a P-Zone Park naval warfare boat.
There you go.
Yeah. Well, I made that more difficult than I needed to. All right, okay. Sit down. Legs out. Okay.
That is your throttle.
That's my throttle?
Yeah, it's not. So if you let go, it'll stop.
Okay.
So you're gonna ease it on.
So I'm going to be pulling...
No. Like a motorbike.
Oh, like a motorbike. Okay, yep.
Just twist it now, you'll get a feel for it.
Oh, okay, yep.
Okay,
Gently.
Forward
Yep.
and reverse selection there.
Yep.
Some of them are orientated incorrectly.
Okay, I'll figure that out.
So the motors go the same way, but because of the way that the prop is,
Yep.
depends which way it cuts the water. So
Oh, of course, yeah, all right.
understand that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if the prop's on the other way, it'll push the other way.
Yeah, don't worry, you'll soon figure it out. You just switch that key. Now,
Ignition on.
Now, if you twist that throttle, you should feel.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now which? Okay, so I'm going forwards with that. I can feel that pushing that way.
Steering with your feet.
Steering with my feet. Where? Oh, okay. Yep, I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so are we keeping the top up for now, or?
They're very responsive, so
Yeah.
don't worry about having to start turning,
Yeah.
a mile before you want to make a corner. The lid, you can pull down yourself. You should be able to just grab
All right.
the side and bring it down. Just
Okay.
use your head on these bits. yourself.
Right.
Push her out into the centre. If you can go out,
Yep.
bear left and just go very slowly.
Very
Stand
slowly.
quiet, and I'll come.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go.
And we'll go from there.
Okay.
So yeah, just slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Up in just a moment.
Okay. I think the best way of explaining quite how big a deal this was for me, and I think quite how big a deal it would be for many people from this part of Yorkshire, is that I sent a text to my friend Gary, Yorkshireman born and bred, telling him that I'd done this. And the reply included enough swearing that I'm not going to repeat it on camera. Muggins here is having a joyride, and they're still hard at work getting the cables out. I'm just getting in their way. Oh, hello.
Don't be afraid to open it up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
He says, don't be afraid to open it up. All right. That is, oh my word. That is full steam ahead. I cannot believe they let me do this. Left hand down a bit. And right hand down a bit. And left hand down a bit. Don't hit the seagull, don't hit the bandstand. Don't hit the seagull, don't hit the bandstand. Move out the way, seagull. Move out. Thank you. I've just got full throttle on this boat. I've got full throttle on a P-Zone Park naval warfare boat. If you didn't grow up round here, I know this might not mean much to you, but to me, this is incredible. I turned the power down there because I thought the ship was going to coast. I've driven a canal boat and some other little boats before, and there's always so much more inertia than you think. You have to plan so far in advance, but here, no, these were easy. Went off the throttle far earlier than I needed to. This is the sort of thing where you can just... Yeah, I did have to, at least briefly, bring the lid down. You know what? The visibility's not bad, is it?
Oh, yeah.
In that one, he says. All right. Next, the HMS Ark Royal. I should mention, while I'm getting towed in, that for many years the P-Zone Park show was based on an actual Second World War naval battle, the Battle of the River Plate. But these days, it's just British forces versus an unnamed enemy, which is why the British ships have names. They're based on actual ships, like the Ark Royal, the aircraft carrier. Here we go.
There we go.
That was certainly a noise I made. Right, so sit right. Okay, don't put your weight anywhere other than the centre, Tom. Okay. Lovely. Oh, okay, yeah.
You're certainly in.
Yeah, I'm definitely in.
You are limited for space in this one. As you
I
can
am.
see, 'cause you've got a handle that wants to poke you in the chest.
Yes.
You're currently sat very proud.
Oh, right.
For right now, do you want to go out where you can see over the top?
No, let's do it properly. Let's do it properly.
With the lid on?
Let's do it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I've had the joyride, haven't I? I've had the bit where...
You've had the pleasant...
Yeah.
yeah.
Right, okay. So my head has to be...
You're scooted right down.
Yep.
I'm going to slide this lid towards you.
Yep. Oh, good grief.
You mind your head.
Yep. Well, that's an experience.
Quite different.
You said it was like a coffin earlier. I can see why.
I don't know if I can see you in there from this end.
Right. Ignition. Little bit of power.
Give it a bit more.
That's a noise. Go this way to go forwards. Okay, look, it could be worse, is all I'm saying. Turning to the bandstand. I couldn't really see when you're piloting the Ark Royal. One hand on the throttle, one hand on the steering lever that wants to hit you in the face. All you have are tiny portholes, most of which you can't see anything through from that angle. So you have to remember what you have seen and build up a model of the environment in your head. Presumably the drivers pick up this skill and know the lake like the back of their hand, but when you're piloting an icon of Scarborough for the first time, it's a bit nerve-wracking. Also, you may spot that I had some company in the boat, a few moths. I'd not noticed the moths. I was too busy trying not to crash, but I will notice one of them very soon. Oh, there are a lot of tourists watching me. I mean, let's be honest, all the people watching are hoping at some level that I'm going to suddenly yell everybody down and ram the bandstand, but I think I'm round safely.
Now open her up a bit, take her in.
Open it up and take her in. Got it. I steadily took the Ark Royal up to full throttle, and look, I know it might not look like much from outside, but when you're lying with your head by the waterline for the first time, it does feel unsafe at that speed. Blimey, that's fast. This feels like joyriding. This feels like I'm going far too fast. Oh, blimey, there's a pedalo coming in at speed. Ah, that's fine. That's fine. Hello, tourists, as if I'm not a tourist. I didn't spot that pedalo. A few seconds difference, and, well, they'd have stopped, or they'd have taken evasive manoeuvres. I guess it's not exactly dangerous. Of course, when the battle's happening, that wouldn't be a problem. There's no public on the lake then, but it did alarm me a little. I still had not noticed the moths. I wasn't looking inside the boat at all, and then one of them decided to wake me up. God, I cannot see the critical areas here, but no one's shouting at me. I feel like that was very close on the left. Oh my God, there's a moth in here! Ah! I don't know if that was a moth or a butterfly. Didn't expect to have that problem. My voice went up 2 octaves. That reaction would have been far more appropriate for the firework I'd be helping set up soon, not for a moth. But never mind, I parked up, was let out of the Ark Royal, and then told that the moth incident could have been so much worse. What do you mean they do that?
Yeah, they do that. The worst thing about it was a frog.
A frog?
Frog in the boat with them, yeah. Don't mind a butterfly.
Frogs, moths and butterflies, that's the...
It's when you set one of the effects off and they all just... Obviously you hear the effect and then you have 5 or 6 of them just smash into the side of your face and from all different directions.
The last job, then, was the final setup for the show. The team rigged all the explosions and effects on the boats, towed 3 of them out, attached them to the winch cables and plugged in the wires for the detonators. And under very strict supervision, I was allowed to prep 1 firework, the big boom that signals there's half an hour until the show. Next job
is this beauty.
All right.
Take that.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
This is going to be our 2:30. It acts as a bird scarer. Also, it's a cue for our narrator Jim.
Right.
To start his lot. So I'll go and show you where it goes.
Okay. That's fine. I'm just, casually holding an explosive. 75mm white crackling. Right. So, in the tube first.
However you're comfortable. I would pop it in the tube first.
All right, in the tube first.
Make sure your head's not looking straight down when you connect it.
Thank you.
That's it.
I wasn't worried about this until you said that. Now, the thing is, while I'm aware that everything is switched off,
it's always in the back of your mind.
it's always in the back of your mind, just this
So you
moment.
can always move.
Just come over here, just in case. And we're fine. Because of course we're fine. But it's just,
Yeah, don't worry. We're professional.
Yes. Yeah, you are. They let me flip the switch to fire the explosion too. Now, they did mention that the firework was used as 2 things. First, a cue for the show's narrator to start his warm-up. And second, a bird scarer. My apologies to the seagull that was tucked away under the dock.
3, 2, 1.
Then more of the park staff arrived to drive the boats. Jim, the narrator, warmed up the crowd. I said my thank yous and goodbyes, and it was very quickly back over the bridge to see if the show itself was like I remembered from the 90s.
Can you see the warship, P-Zone? Well, let's give that warship a big boo, P-Zone. Come on, 1, 2, 3. The warship. Enemy guns have fallen silent. Enemy HQ has been hit.
Next time, or right now on Nebula, a lot of sugar and a completely unnecessary joke involving 1990s Dutch happy hardcore music.